Greetings students, I'm Dr. Sadri, your instructor for this course, and this is going to be the last video we are making. We are still focused on Module 12, which is the very last module of our course. What I wanted to say is, if you remember in part 1 of this module's video, what I did was I focused on the future of the Middle East. So what am I going to do right now? I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the last assignments that we have in this module. As you know, in Module 12, we have basically 3 major assignments. Number 1 assignment is extra credit. Okay, extra credit is of course optional. I put extra credit over there to help the students if for some reason they were not able to use all of the opportunities that our course gives. As you know, my courses are very generous. I mean, it's well known, not just in our department and our college, but at the university. I have the most generous courses in terms of providing opportunity to the students. Remember, according to our course requirements, I have 12 posting opportunities throughout the semester. All I need is, you guys do at least 6 of them. We have 9 quiz opportunities. All you have to do is just do 3 of them. We have, of course, so those 2 makes our course very, very unique. And then, there are a number of courses here at UCF that they give 2 midterms and they drop 1 of them, which is what we do as well. And then, of course, we have a final exam based on UCF rules and regulations. Is that right? I've been always following the rules of my university. And last but certainly not least, I also have 5 points of what extra credit. Well, some semesters, depending on what the situation is, sometimes I increase the points for the extra credit. And sometimes it's not, especially if you had a hurricane or something, I do that because I want to make sure that my students do well. And, that's very important for me, as you know, we use a basically simple, point system. It's not weighted, it's not this, it's not that. All you need to do is just add up your points together, and then you know exactly where you stand. And as I mentioned before, and I've sent actually emails about this one, and I indicated it in our syllabus, please completely ignore all of this misleading statistics that Canvas gives you. The fault is not UCF fault. UCF buys these programs, and the fault is the people who wrote that program. The people who wrote that program, they didn't consider that, there could be a course that would be very, very generous, So every time, I have students who have got, for example, 3 10s in their terms of their quizzes. So obviously, why should they take any more quiz? It doesn't make any sense to prepare to waste their time. Well, my course is not the only course they're taking. They're taking a bunch of other people's courses as well. So it's okay from my perspective, but Canvas is going to keep putting 0, 0, 0, 0, and then it says, average quiz score, failing. And then student contacts me and they're really worried. They say, Dr. Sadi, I thought I was doing very well, and the system shows this. I said, please, as I syllabus indicates, as I indicated myself in my email, please ignore all of those misleading statistics by Canvas. Same situation with posting, same situation with everything else, all right? So I contacted the UCF Tech's staff several times, and they can't do anything about it because these things, they come to UCF as a package, all right? But that said, we have always the extra credit based on the suggestion of some of your peers from previous semester. They said, Dr. Sadi, please don't put any other more writing assignment for us at the end. And so what we wanted to do is we want to take it in a quiz format. So that's what I did. A couple of years ago, I changed it to a quiz format. Everybody seems to be happy with it. It basically has 5 questions, and you answer that one based on an optional reading in Module 12. So you read that one, you take it, and that's another 5 points right there, at least. Some years, depending, as I mentioned, hurricanes or other natural disasters, I would increase the points to make sure that students, they do not suffer because of something they didn't have any control over. Is that right? That's one. The other thing that you need to do in terms of the assignments, notice that in Module 12 also we have an optional posting. The optional posting is also, which is one of those 12, that's number 12, based on that same, optional reading. So we have that. Then we have the requirement we have in that is basically what is final exam. Our final exam is always based on UCF rules. I like to have my final exams on the last part of the week, but I have to follow my university's rules and regulations. So if it says whatever date it says, is the one that I put in the, in my class schedule, even if it's not the typical day that I usually give what the major exam. So do not forget to what, to take the final exam. Final exam, you're very lucky, because in the last 4 or 5 years, what I've done is I made the final exam to cover only the last part of the semester. So remember, the first part of the semester, modules 1, 2, 3, then we had module 4, which was exam 1, then we had module 5, 6, 7, module 8 was covering what? It was covering basically, it was exam 2, which was covering the second, third, and then this, a final exam actually covers only modules 9, 10, and 11, which is basically the last third of the what? Last third of the semester. So what about the format of it? It's exactly, in terms of format, it's just like exam 1 and exam 2, okay? What about the students sometimes ask me a question, Dr. Study, I took exam 1, exam 2. Do I need to take exam 3 because some professors do that? Look, guys, every class has its own class, rules and regulation. I don't judge my colleagues for doing whatever else. I just follow my university rule. My university rule says everybody should have a final exam or a final paper. So, I go for the final exam, okay? So, they have 2 midterms, 1 final exam. Please do it. Has the same format, same type of. Then the study guide for it, which so many students, they ask, study guide, study guide. What is our study guide? What was our study guide for first exam, second exam? Basically our PowerPoint. Is that right? If you notice very carefully, like 80–90% of the questions of the, of the short answer and essay, they were coming from what? They were coming from PowerPoint. Is that right? I mean, that's not a secret. So take the PowerPoint seriously. Last but not least is an assignment called post-test. If you remember, in module 1, you had pre-test. So this is basically for the, the studies that here at UCF we do, all right? You need to take the post-test, okay? I'm hoping that you get a higher score than what you did in exam 1, I'm sorry, not exam 1, in pre-test. Is that right? Sorry for that little slip. So in pre-test, you took the same questions and you answered it. In post-test, you take the same question and you answer it. Hopefully you have done some more. When we look at it, we feel like, oh, okay, the student learned something. Is that right? Of course, if you get a lower score, then, you kind of wonder a little bit about you. But, I'm hoping that things go very well. All right. So that's as far as this is concerned. Don't forget, right after the, final, take the post-test, and then you're done. And as soon as that one finishes, the exam becomes available for me, I start grading. As you know, I always grade myself. I know some colleagues, they give it to the TAs and everything. I have always respected my TAs. Doesn't matter which semester, what term, what year. But I think that a professor has to grade all of their own exams and, monitor all their quizzes and, help the student with those things and do the lectures and everything else. I do not pass that responsibility to anybody else, okay? And as you know, I've always mentioned that I have some learning disabilities, so I'm a little bit slower in doing that one, and to make sure that I don't make any kind of mistakes, what I do is I grade them twice, okay? So be patient with me, but I grade them twice, make sure that everything is okay, then I enter them into my own Excel, because, I really do not care too much about the Canvas's, what do you call it, a grade book, it's not such a great tool. Put it over there, calculate everything twice, make sure that there is no mistakes or something. Then I report the final grade to UCF, and then they're going to make it available for you according to their own schedule. All right, well, that's all. It has been an honor to serve you this semester. I hope that you feel like you learned something about a very, very challenging region in the world, that when people, they come to it, they already come up with some preconceived notions. Some people love Israel, some people hate Israel. Some people love Arab countries, some people hate Arab countries. Some people like Iranians and the Persians, some people hated Iranian and Persian. People, they come to this course with such strong opinions. Is that right? Some political opinions, some religious opinions, some economic opinions, some whatever, It's not my job to tell you what to think. It's my job to educate you as a young scientist, a method that you would follow to study the region. That's one. To provide you with the background information, focusing on the facts. And in terms of opinion, as you notice, the reason we have so many readings is what? We have so many readings because I have to present different point of views to my students. Okay, I cannot just rely on one person or two people. Yes, some of those guys, they're very famous, but they're also very opinionated. I mean, you've been at UCF for a while. You know that even professors, by the time they become professors, we are all PhDs and postdoc and this and that and everything else. You become really highly opinionated. When I was a student, I didn't want the professors, they tried to brainwash me to become Democrat or Republican or to become pro this or anti that. I wanted to make that decision myself, and I think that's the job of a professor. Okay, some people like what I'm saying, some people are not going to like, but it is not my job to change your opinion. It's my job to teach you to be a junior scientist with the methods that we put over there, provide you with some background information, and then provide you with a variety of opinion. It's your job to decide which one of them you want, mix and match, do whatever you like to do. It has been again a pleasure serving you as usual. If you have any questions, contact me. All right, you know how to email me, and I'm so proud of you for asking me all these questions in your emails. We always have these anonymous surveys to put over there because we do not know which student has asked which question or what type of criticism they have. But I noticed that hardly there's been any really question put in any of those anonymous weekly and optional surveys. Thank you so much for making me feel comfortable that what you're actually asking me those questions directly in your emails. Thank you. And I hope if you're not graduating this semester, I hope to see you in some other classes. Bye.